Pretoria's splinters struggle to rebuild. Portionnaire makes her move for Pretoria's secrets. Shapeshifters summoned from the plane of chaos feast on flesh and memories, while the mages of the Conclave Arcana scour the 7 territories. Few will stand against them, but it won't be enough. That's where you come in. You and your cards. Like all new archons that grant you dominion over bloodlines. Dwarves, elves, gnomes, orcs, and Lund. Craft midnight potions in the Artisan Quarter for a shot at new ultra-rare foils. Flex your collection in battle and earn bigger rewards. The Conclave Arcana awaits. Do you have what it takes?
Hello and welcome everyone to the Splinterlands Town Hall. It is Thursday, October 16th, gearing up for Halloween, and Q4 of 2025 is getting underway. We have the usual crew here with us today. We got Investi, we got Blaze, we got Nate, we got Dave McCoy, and myself, of course. Since the last town hall, we've had a bunch of things that have gone out. There's been the animations for the arcane cards, which I think is like a great start for also adding in other cool battle animations and other effects and cosmetics for cards and avatars and players. We got Dar Gotham Gear Nut, which is out. Crazy cool card for vouchers, and the arcane draws are starting next week, I believe. We had the auction for the Black Foil Arcane Pickles. Congrats to Blaze on that one, by the way. And obviously, we have the Halloween skins that were just released. Also, just a beginning of a new era of having lots more skins and cool visual graphics for cards, and we'll be expanding on that as we go forward. In the background, we also had a large update to the entire game front end, which is just a reminder to everybody that there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background just to keep a game like this running. That's part of the work that the team does day in and day out. And we have, of course, a bunch of cool stuff upcoming that we're going to be talking about through the course of the town hall. So first and foremost, I will kick it over to Investigator to talk about how things are going on the development side.
Good morning. I think you just talked about most of what happened recently, but that's fine. So the Halloween skin sale is currently going on, and let me go take a quick look at how many are left, but they're going quick out of the ultimate chests. So people have been opening those at a pretty good clip. We have the new reward set coming out next update. So that's going to be a lot of changes to the reward shop, the reduction in unbinding costs for Rebellion set, and a slow climb back up before they stop being unbindable forever. We're also going to be introducing new mechanics for unbinding the Conclave Arcana reward cards, which I believe Dave has talked about during the last town hall. There has been a lot of work to clean up the UI that's been ongoing. And as some astute observers may notice, there was an overhaul of the guild lobby in the Halloween update. So we're adding more sub-tabs and guild chat. We're going to be looking at adding more things in the future. Though right now, we're pretty heads down on getting the reward set out next week. In the months to come, we will be looking at hopefully getting out the previously talked about player avatars. There are some things that the DAO has passed that we will be working on. Probably the soonest thing will be the reward distribution rework, as well as survival mode, but that is a larger project, so that is going to take a little bit longer to get developed. And that's a very quick overview of the near-term projects and what's been going on.
Cool. Thank you, Investi. And you guys, obviously you and the rest of the dev team have been killing it. Very smooth, tons of updates. I know I say this like pretty much every time, but it's like a whole different world from how things were in the past. And you guys make it seem easy. I know it's not, but you make it seem that way, which is great from my perspective and from our players' perspective. Yeah. So Blaze and Dave, if you want to jump in too, how are things going on the marketing and promotional side?
It's going great. I mean, first off, it's just great to see our product come so far. I'm coming up on I think it's around a year today that I've been that I joined the crew and seeing the development of our game and how we're evolving to, again, the primary goal is to cater to multiple audiences so we can make this work. If we're too heavy on the crypto side, everybody's waiting for the numbers to go up. So I think what we've done is we've brought in a balance to cater to the collector and the gamer and just pure entertainment. And I think it's starting to show now, right? With the skins hitting, the new rewards cards that we have, and the look and feel that Nate and the creative team has been doing to upgrade the arenas. I had mentioned a couple of people in the chat. I can't wait until Lucky Longshot is shooting a pink arrow, right? And because it's very important. It may not seem like it, to our at the beginning when we talked about it, but it is a very big part of our game is bringing entertainment and adding value to our assets. That's what it does. So shout out to the creative team. They're doing an amazing job, and Harry and the team to implement Royal and Lily behind the scenes, QAing everything with the crew. Just action-packed every day, day in, day out. Again, on top of everything that Dave and I are cooking up on the other side of things. And also, I'd like to, before I forget, a big shout out to Clay. Clay went up on stage and talked about Splinterlands, SPS DAO, and our Crypto Gaming Recovery Fund. He did a great job and spreading awareness and doing things for Hive as well. So he's doing some networking for us. And big thanks to Clay. Let's see, Conclave Arcana is going well. We're over 3.6 million in sales. Let's see if we can push it to 4 million by the end of the year. That'd be awesome. And with the DEC prices, it's a good time to start building the decks. You guys are starting to see the community share the rewards cards. They're freaking amazing, not only art-wise, but stat-wise. So we're all going to be chasing those cards to have a stronger deck and compete at the highest levels. And the Halloween skins are amazing. Everybody, the feedback from the community is just overwhelmingly positive. The creative team, Dave and I, we had a meeting with Nate, I think it was end of August, and I don't know what was on their agenda. I think it was 3, maybe 4. So when we hit him with 15, he's like, what, 15? On top of everything else we have going on. It was just amazing to see. Not only did they do 15, but they had 2 bonus come in. It was Shock Trooper and somebody else, but thanks, Nate.
Well, Blaze, it wasn't just 15. You said 15. But we want a basic and a premium. So really it was like 30. It was like making a whole nother set, really. It was insane.
Yeah, in regards to the premium, Dave over there, he's probably, he just comes up with ideas, and I think he just shot that one off the hip to see if you would bite. So, but no, really cool stuff. Let me get back here to Twitch drops. Hey, everybody's like, hey, why are we doing Twitch drops? Going very well. I jumped into our Faded Glories stream the other night. It was jam-packed, action-packed in the chats. Really cool stuff going on. So I took the opportunity and gave him a bunch of death cards because that was his favorite element. The community loves seeing the cards. And again, they aren't no average Joe cards. These are really good cards. Art-wise, performance-wise, And then chase-wise too, to be able to get these gold foils is going to be an exciting moment when we pull these. So in addition to the activities on the weekly draw. So action-packed. Bronze Dragon, another one, continuing to deliver week after week content. So follow all of them on YouTube or Twitch. It's a good time. So, and also seeing them play with all the new fancy graphics and stuff, it really elevates Splinterlands. So good stuff. Now's the time to strike. You know, we can capture both audiences now. We have targets. We have a fun landing experience for the new player. We have the free to play mode. Great visuals now. The reward system is a lot more entertaining coming up next week. So we have everything it takes to succeed here. I mean, we're doing this right, and it feels really good. So yeah, let's just keep moving forward. Ads, like I said last call, we're prepared. We've done the test runs, and actually I just started Halloween, Hollow's Fall ads on X and Facebook. We're going to be getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of views on these. And again, we are budgeting our expense and seeing the results and acting accordingly. But it's going really good, and it's my job to get us from, I think we're averaging right now, it's been a slow month because we were in build mode, and then crypto in general has been a little off, but I think we're averaging around 125 new daily players coming in, and it's my responsibility to get that up to 200, 300, 400 a day. And I think now we have the game to start making that push. So get ready. Now's the time. So the big picture's coming together. I'm super excited, happy with our team. We have the great team, great community, and a great product. So we have all it takes to succeed. So let's do this.
Nice. Yeah, it's great to see things starting to come together. I know everything is always like takes longer than we think or want it to initially, but slowly but surely we build up these things. Then start pushing the advertising, see what works, and hopefully just like continue to double down. So thank you for leading that charge. It's certainly not something that I am at all qualified to lead. So great to have you here doing that, and just generally, working with the community, getting everyone all revved up for everything. It's exciting to see. Dave, do you have anything you wanted to comment on before we jump over to Nate?
Yeah. One, I will say that we are ramping up, and some people have mentioned in public chats or on Twitter, things like they don't see new players, or we don't have as many new players as they expected, or whatever the case may be. But we're still running more players in the new mode than all the modes put together. That's even with the initial shock of like everybody came and they played and tried it, and then now a lot of people have migrated back to regular rank play, but we still have like 4,200 4,300 active players in frontier mode every single day, or that many accounts being played. And I also think it's pretty exciting that we have the new reward set. Matt, I don't know if you're going to talk about that, but that's going to be a really big deal. I think there's going to be quite a few that have come to play and started in Frontier and are going to say, hey, maybe I want to participate over in Ranked and buy a few cards or rent a few cards and rent some SPS and go for those, raffle prizes over there in Ranked play as well, because they're going to be some pretty cool cards. So I guess you'll be talking about that here in a second. But the other thing I want to say is Lily brought up, she handles the communication with the community, and there's a UX channel in Discord. And with all these launches of all these different things, she's the one that's responsible for gathering all that information and putting it together and, essentially making a good user experience for everybody. And she wanted me to give a shout out to some of the players that have been really active over there. So I encourage everybody that, does want to give feedback, don't be shy, go over to the UX channel and give ideas. But specifically, she wanted me to shout out Doombot75, Unit Master, Quasar, Fluid, Emay, 1T, I just call him EW, Beaker, Brave Tofu, Desert Joe, Gurus, Paul TRX, TYC Deadsy, Danny Boz, and she said there's many more she couldn't put on the list. And she also said that as a reminder, any urgent bugs, please submit support tickets so they can log them and make sure that they're in the system. She said this is the best way for them to figure out based on the support tickets, how severe the issues are, and then they rank them and get to them. It's a whole process. So with all these new things coming, if you do notice bugs, make sure you get it over, get the issues up in the UX channel. And if it's a bug, then actually do a ticket for it. So thanks for all your help. And, she's pumped and I'm pumped, and I'm pretty sure everybody on the team is pumped with all the support you guys are giving. So thank you.
Yeah, no, 100%, because obviously, we have limited resources, and one of the whole point of this is to try to be as much as possible like a community project. So, yeah, it's great to see so many players in the community helping out. And I think in the past it has been difficult to figure out, how do you get in touch with people, or how do you, suggest ideas or things like that. I think we've got that process streamlined pretty well. So, shout out also to Lily Fire, and the support team who's taken that on, of listening, talking to the community, organizing the things, and pushing them through the process so they get done. I mean, tons and tons of the things we do every week in our releases that are supposed to be every 2 weeks, but that never seems to happen, comes from, you guys, from bug submissions or UX suggestions, whatever it is. So keep that up.
And they take that very seriously. I don't know if the community really realizes how much, like, Lily is like literally the flag bearer for the community. If those issues are put in there, she's going to bring them up. They're going to be on calls. They're going to be in discussions. We go through them. So just so you know, your voice is heard, and Lily's definitely the champion for you guys. So thank you, Lily.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Doing a great job there. Last but not least, we have Nate. But before he goes, I'm gonna preface this by saying that Nate and the creative team have been doing an awesome job, in particular on everything, I would say, but in particular working on the new player avatar project. And I've alluded to in the past that we have some really cool things as part of that project, that we are not planning to talk about ahead of time. So Nate is not allowed to show those things. So if Nate doesn't have as much eye candy as normal, you can blame me. But they have been working on some really cool stuff, and we that should be out definitely before the end of the year. And I think everyone's going to be really psyched about how much cooler the player avatar project is from what you've seen, from what's been shown already. So with that disclaimer, take it away, Nate.
No, absolutely. We are excited behind the scenes working on the stuff that Matt has us working on. What I can show, though, for part of that project, at least I'll show that, is I think every town hall I show a little bit, just because I'm so excited about it, even though we're not like, oh, we're going to launch next week. We're not at that stage yet. But it's fun to see behind the scenes, like some of the, the enhancements and improvements. So one of the things that I think I've been sharing in the past was human male. So I'll just drop in, like, things that we're working on in the behind the scenes. So that's a human female. Here's a dwarf. Here's a let's see, this is an orc, and this is an elf. So just to whet your guys' appetite for the different possibilities and what you might be looking at as far as cosmetic options and bloodlines and things of that nature. But that is a little bit down the road. So I'll try to find something that's a little more what's happening now, like right now. I guess the first thing would be the 21st, I think, is when we plan for the new reward set. So I think Matt and Dave had proposed, like, well, let's talk a little bit about that. So here's an example of let's see. This was something that Dave really pushed for. So in the lobby for modern, you go down at the bottom and you'll see, hey, that looks a little familiar from Frontier format. So the idea, the concept here being that you're going to be able to start winning battles and getting these entries and trying to go after those super ultra, rare cards in the game. And so that's exciting. That's pretty exciting. So you'll see that pop up in the lobby. For those who are more interested in like the unbinding mechanics that we're introducing, then here's an example of a screen where you're kind of choosing which rarity of unbind scroll. Here's another UI screenshot that kind of shows you like, hey, what happens when I try to unbind and I click the button, and what's the prompt look like, and that gives you guys an idea there. So that's pretty exciting stuff. There's a lot of new stuff coming with this new reward set, so pretty excited. Trying to see what else we got going on. Something we wanted to get in for Hollow's Fall, but it's not. It's my own fault, really, that it didn't get in. A few days before we launch Hollow's Fall, I was like, Harry, we got these animated backgrounds, and Harry's like, are you kidding me? Like we've got time. We're like, how are we gonna do that? But to his credit, we do have Antioch, one of our devs, working on it, and from what I could tell, 50-50 chance we might be able to get in on the next update. I don't know. What do you think, Harry? Do you think the chances are good or bad on that one?
Yeah, it should be in there for the next update.
Oh, nice. So if it is, I'll whet you guys up appetite. This is
Harry's facial expression here. He's not on the screen.
This is a GIF that GIF. This is a GIF that animated GIF that Antioch put into our team Slack to kind of give the QA and support team an idea of like, hey, this is what it's probably going to look like. I was like, yeah. So I'll, even though it's a high file size, I'll drop it in. And for those of you with high internet speeds, then hopefully it loads for you and you can see that. But yeah, I'm excited at all the little tiny quote battles 2.0 features that we're just kind of like slip it in when we can here and there. And hopefully that becomes the norm to eventually we have a production quality of our game to where, whether you're a streamer or just a regular gamer or whatever, you just pop in. And it's not about the grind. It's about it's just delightful to interact with. It's just like, whoa, you're getting the oohs and the ahs, and that's cool. And you watch the battles. Maybe right now you don't, but at some point, my challenge that I take very personally is I want to get every player to just feel compelled to watch these battles because they're so cool and so thrilling and so engaging. And so that's what we'll work towards. And you guys might have noticed that certain promo characters start to hear them say little taglines or make little sounds, and we want to keep doing that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's emotionally engaging. So expect to see more of that.
I found myself more inclined to use my arcane cards, even when maybe they're not the best choice sometimes.
Just to see the animation and sorry, I made a cool little sound to go with the animation.
And then when they die before they even get to go, I guess I get to see the animation when the battle starts, but I'm sad.
That's true.
Have you guys seen the got him noise when he hits? He says got him.
Oh no, I haven't seen the got him.
Oh yeah, when he vanquishes someone, he goes got him. And then I love how the pickle. You almost don't care whether he dies or he lives because either way he makes an interesting sound that makes you chuckle. So I think that's cool. Speaking of elevating gameplay experience, it's not just the team, it's you guys. And so some of you have contributed to Dave's war cry for, hey, do you have ideas for combat modifiers in the rule set, different ways we could shake up the meta? And so, the creative team has been working on graphics and stuff. I won't say which one is which one or which player's idea is coming to fruition or whatever, but I'll just drop a bunch here just so that they're, fun to look at, fun to theorize about what does that one do and what's going to happen when these things get released and how's that going to change the gameplay. And that's one of the cool things is from day one, the cards and Matt has always championed this. Matt's always been back in the day when we had a much smaller team and we were trying to figure out like how do we balance all this. And a lot of times balancing just comes from the combat modifiers, the rule sets, and what we could do with those, and taking cards that normally would maybe suck and you'd be like, oh, I don't even like that card. Suddenly you put the right combat modifier and suddenly that quote sucky card has a lot of utility, and that becomes the ideal card to use, whether it's swapping the speed from, high speed's bad or things of that nature. So I look forward to getting more and more of these combat modifiers, and I think it's really cool that the community is part of that. I think out of all the Web3 projects, I would imagine that we just have so much collaboration, whether it's with the DAO and DAO proposals, or whether it's in Discord and just chatting up the ideas in those VIP rooms, or whether it is, the calls like, Dave made to the community and try to get people involved that way. There's so much, so many different ways that the game has changed, not based upon what we thought we should do, but also based upon what you guys wanted to see happen, which again is part of the reason why Dave had such a long list of names to rattle off just now, because you guys are involved in that UX channel. You guys are involved in making a difference and refining and making the game better. And that's cool. That's Matt's vision. That's always been Matt's vision, is just collaboratively create this game together and see where it goes. It's this grand experiment. And so far, so good. A lot of projects have folded and we're still here. Last thing I would say is, this little graphic. I don't remember if Blaze mentioned it or not, but if he didn't, then this is a graphic just to celebrate the fact that there's a Games Awards going on. Feel free to take that graphic, use it. You have like a day left, I think, to go vote for Splinterlands. And I think that the strides we made in just the past year alone, let alone the last 2 years, it's like a different game. Like I'm sure you've noticed in taverns, someone will stumble in and say, yeah, I played this game a few years ago, and they're like, holy crap. They're looking around and they're like, it's like a whole new experience. And that's cool. Once again, credit goes to you guys who stuck around and helped to make the game better. So go take your vote, nominate Splinterlands. And even if it's too late to get up in the rankings, it's still, let's get more eyeballs. Let's get more people involved in the project that we've all fallen in love with. I think that's what I had for now. So I'll pass the baton back.
All right, even in a slow day, because you're restricted from showing everything, there's still all sorts of cool stuff. And it was also mentioned that the players and our content creators are picking up a lot of your eye candy work by getting to release the cards from the new reward set, which is
the alpha.
Yeah. So Nate, you're delegating to our community, which is great. But yeah, thanks for sharing all that stuff. I did really like all the new rule set ideas. It's one of those things that I've been saying forever. Like we need to do new rule sets like all the time. Like every month there should be some new rule sets, and then we end up forgetting about that as we work on other higher priority projects. So thank you, Dave, for spearheading that campaign. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of the heart of the game. It's what kind of differentiates Splinterlands mainly from a lot of the other card games, is the rule sets. So that's something I like to see. I'd like to see us play around with on an ongoing basis to keep things interesting. Make it.
Bob already knocked out quite a bit of them, so it's just going to be, we're going to have a release schedule, and they're going to be coming out all the time. So
yeah, because that's what I mean. That was the whole idea of the game, right? Is that you don't just do the same teams over and over, the same cards over and over, like in most trading card games. So it's super cool. It makes it more difficult for bots over human players as we add new rule sets. It keeps it interesting. It lets you use new cards that previously might not have been very useful. I particularly like the rule sets that really limit your card selection. So when it's like, oh wow, you can only use magic attack and use one splinter or one element, then I'm like, wow, I have like 4 cards to choose from or whatever in some combinations, and that's cool because you use cards you never used before, and then it is very beneficial to make sure you have a very wide selection of cards, which is also something that's not not in a lot of trading card games. You just go after the main cards that are highly used, and you don't need anything else. Not so in Splinterlands. So love to see that happening.
And the
Yeah,
new
so-
Halloween one is Blood Moon is really, really entertaining. The community's loving that one. Have you had a chance to play with it yet?
I have not very much.
Yeah,
but,
Nate has some
over the
cool
weekend.
sounds going on when it procs. It's pretty cool.
Yep. The other thing about that, Blaze, is people, if you don't play it during the next season, during the season that we're in, it's gone. It's like the McRib sandwich. You can it's only here now for a limited time, and then it might be back next year, but you're gonna miss it if you don't play it. So get out there and play.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the McRibs. There's theories going around that like when the McRib comes back, that like Bitcoin, jumps in price.
Oh wow,
There's
I didn't know that.
Yes,
I
there's
will.
technical analysis around McRib appearances.
Thank you for that financial advice, Matt.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just gonna before we get to the Q&A section, kind of talk through the upcoming things. Most of these we've already talked about in the past, but I think it's good to just rehash things, come at it from different angles. So obviously, we're shooting for next week for the new reward set. If it doesn't go out next week, then shortly thereafter. But in the very near future, we will have that. Um, as you know, that's a lot based on what we did in Frontier mode, which has been pretty exciting and has worked really well. So we're bringing a lot of that over to Modern and Wild. So we hope to see a lot of people who are enjoying that in Frontier mode jump over to Modern and potentially Wild, to get those cards, to get the raffle entries, and participate in that. As we mentioned, there's also SPS staking benefits, which is great. There's going to be a small cost in DEC to participate in the raffles, which I think is good to encourage people to start getting and using DEC to get like the premium things. Dave, I don't know, you were a lot of the architect behind a lot of these things. Anything you want to say about the new reward set?
Yeah, I think a big picture, I believe that it's going to be really exciting. A couple things it should do is with like Nate was talking about the mechanic of 5 wins. You get a raffle ticket or X amount of raffle tickets depending on the size you are. I mean, that's a mechanic that should be extremely engaging, right? So you can't just sit back and play a couple matches and then get well, I got other things to do now. Like at least with me, if I get 1 win, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get 5 wins, right? Like I don't like wasting wins. So once I get 1, I'm going to go ahead and win the other 4. The mechanic of the black foil arcane, and gold foil arcane being in these special cards in these bucket, for that is, I think it's a great mechanic because it's you guys as a community and decide how many entry tickets it takes to win, right? Like we may have 5,000 raffle tickets, we may have 50,000 raffle tickets. It's really how many. It's like a competition to see who can get the most chance. The cool thing about it is, as we've seen in Frontier, sometimes people with 4 or 5 raffle tickets actually win the prize, right? It's when you have that many people participating, everybody's got a chance. So it's kind of like the lottery, right? Like some people say, just buy one lottery ticket and you have a chance to win the lottery, which is true. Then other guys go out and buy like $10,000 worth of tickets. But in reality, it's really hard to win the lottery either way. So it's more about having fun and having a chance at these really cool cards. So I think that's going to be a pretty good dynamic. And as Matt mentioned in the SPS staking, one thing I've learned about our community, we have a bunch of achievers. Some people might even say overachievers. So when they see that they could win 15 tickets or 20 tickets or 30 tickets, then they're going to come back and like make it happen, right? So yeah, maybe I only have enough SPS to get me 20 tickets, but if I stake some more, I might get 30 tickets. We have a lot of people that like to do that, right? That I mean, they may complain about it from time to time, but they want to be the best. So I think that dynamic's going to be really fun and really good for the economy as well, because I don't think we have enough SPS. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to buy the cards with Glint in the reward shop. So I know there's been a lot of people, myself included, that have been kind of hoarding up Glint for a long time. So hopefully we'll see a lot of that get spent to get these new cards. I will also mention that some of the neat stuff we're doing with the player avatar project is going to involve quite a bit of Glint as well. So that's another area for those of you who are stacking up millions of Glint will be able to utilize it. So that's, Glint usage is going to be big over the next couple months, I think.
Yeah, and when you talk about that, Matt, I mean, I think that hopefully the people, the deep thinkers that we have of the game that come in and look at the economics and all that. I mean, you realize that if Glint has value to people, in other words, they want to get it, then that means there is a way to do it, right? You can stake more SPS, right, to get more Glint. So as you play, the more SPS you get, that you can play at a higher league. So the higher league that you play, also gives you an opportunity to earn more Glint. So when you find, which you will, no matter who you are, even Vuctus is going to find that he doesn't have enough Glint. So what's going to happen is you're going to have a choice. Like, do I just not get everything I want? Or do I figure out a way to earn more Glint, which means pretty much you're going to be wanting to make your account better so you play at a higher level and that you stake more SPS. So that's really the name of the game for what we do anyway. So I'm super excited about this. And then I would say one last thing to point out. I mentioned it earlier. I really think that, a lot of these Frontier players that have come in the free-to-play mode, I think is working really well in terms of it's an easy on-ramp for players to come in. They can play. They literally just have a email address and they can get started. But now, hey, naturally they can come over, they can buy a spell book, they can stake a little bit of SPS or rent SPS, either way, spend a small amount of money, like 10 cents, to be able to participate in the raffle, and at a minimum, have fun there. So I think there's going to be a nice little progression over from the Frontier mode. And I'm sure a lot of people will still continue in Frontier mode, but this is going to be a pretty big transitioning process over in the pay to play, part of the game. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that's going to be a big release coming up pretty soon. Just goes along with our whole plan of fun, engagement, playability across the whole game. And for those of you who have been around for a while and are participating in conflicts, we have recently announced the first legendary summoner from Conclave Arcana. I'm definitely loving the moo here. So we have both the Bloodline Dominion and Tactics on the card. You can check it out on the blog. But those have historically been, the most sought after and exciting cards in the set. So yeah, is that next week? Is that when that conflict starts, or maybe 2 weeks? I don't remember exactly. But it's soon, so make sure you got your wagons ready, you got your cards staked on there. It is going to require more entries to get a guaranteed card than in the past, which I know some people aren't happy with. But ultimately, we try to make it so that those cards match the distribution of the other legendary cards in the set. It's sort of they're just added into the set later. So the ones that are given out through the conflicts are the ones that sort of would have been, gotten if they were in packs. We underestimated a little bit the amount that was needed for the other cards. So there's more of the first 3 conflict cards than equivalent legendary cards in the set. So we're kind of correcting that with the legendary summoners. And I think, as we mentioned, it also kind of makes sense in that these are the most, highly sought after cards. So they're going to be harder to get. And that's how things go with games like this. We want the assets to be limited. We want them to be scarce. That's what gives them value. So there's, a bunch of different things you can get in the game that are either free or cheaper. But these are like the cream of the crop for premium, the Conclave Arcana Legendary Summoners. So you are going to have to, stake a lot of cards and packs on your wagons in order to get those. But it should be
Yeah.
pretty exciting.
On that note, like if you can't participate in the conflicts, just look for the other angle, because these cards are our premium cards of the set, and they're going to have a lot of friends. A lot of cards are going to gain value because they're going to work very well with these new Archons. So the other angle is DEC's pretty cheap right now. So what you could do is, not financial advice, but grab some legendary packs, stake them, if you want to participate on that side of things, but take advantage of the discounted DEC to get legendary packs, because they'll get you some odds of landing them. So
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that I have been picking up a whole bunch of DEC recently, but then I keep buying black foil cards on the market with it. It's not sticking around in my account, but that's cool. Is the land cards.